Today in the news, the 7950X breaks past the early leaks, Intel is in trouble, and get cooler GPU temperatures using a sausage. What's up guys, I'm Snows, and this is your boot sequence. Let's get started with AMD. So the company recently revealed their Ryzen 7000 series of CPUs, and they're coming out in about 3 weeks or so. That means more and more leaks until release, and today we can see that the AMD cores are strong. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting this. So an AMD sample of the 7950X was benchmarked on Cinebench R23. Earlier benchmarks showed a multi-core score of a little over 36,000 points. That's an insane improvement over the 5950X. The older gen scored about 28,800 points, so that's around a 30% increase in performance. If we look at the competition, Intel's upcoming 13900K was benchmarked at a little above 35,000 points. Simply unlocking the power limits though brought that score up to 40,600 points. That's 11% faster than the 7950X that was tested here. But since we're still weeks away, new leaks on the AMD side would inevitably pop up. And oh boy, this newest leak gives it a boost with a score of almost 39,000 points. And I mean, sure, it doesn't beat the Intel score, but the Intel CPU was redlining it at 350 watts. I can promise you that the AMD chip was far, far away from that. Those two families of chips are really going to butt it out this fall, at least in raw performance, because let's be real, gaming loads are a very different beast. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know down below. Speaking of Intel though, we've been waiting a long time for ARC GPUs to show their faces, and apparently they're coming very soon, and they're not going to stagger the models, so both the A750 and A770 will release at the same time. Now, what can you expect from Intel in terms of performance? Well, that's the million-dollar question. According to Intel's testing, the A770 is faster than the RTX 3060, but slower than the TI variant, and the ray tracing performance is apparently on par with the RTX 3000 series. But Intel reps are clear, do not expect 3070 levels of performance. Ouch. Tom Peterson and Ryan Trout from Intel were actually pretty straightforward with their information during their recent interviews. One, they straight up say that if your current system doesn't support resizable bar, skip Intel GPUs altogether. They also said that the two new ARC GPUs are going to be in limited quantities and will only release in some countries. That's a double ouch right here. Honestly, this first generation of Intel GPUs is a mess, and I'll make sure to steer clear from them, unless the price is ridiculously low, like $260 US for an A770. Oh, and by the way, the A750 will be an 8GB card, and the A770 will come in both 8 and 16GB flavors. Lastly, we got a way to cool down your GPU on the cheap. The method? Well, it's a sausage. This information actually comes from Igor's lab, who recently tested 3 different methods of applying thermal paste and found some pretty shocking results. The first method is a complete coverage. Just slather on that paste over top of the GPU and mount it up. The second one is the point method, which is just putting a dot of thermal paste in the middle and letting the cooler spread it out. And the last one is the sausage, or well, line method, which is just a straight line across the chip from end to end. Overall, the full surface method was the worst, and the line method was the best, beating it by 5 degrees Celsius. That's pretty impressive, and he used a chiller, but said that the results on regular coolers can actually be up to 10 degrees. I do have to note that he was very specific in his repasting. First, cleaning is half the battle, and making sure that the chip is squeaky clean is super important. He made sure to get a high quality thermal paste, namely Alpha Cool Apex, and made sure that both the GPU and the thermal paste were warm to help it flow more easily. The method for screwing down the cold plate was also important. But anyways, it's pretty insane how much of a difference he found in his testing. Hopefully, someone else can test it out too and see if maybe that was just a fluke. It's probably not though, we're talking about Igor here. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much it for today's video. Down there, you can go ahead and like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment if you want to talk about how insane 350 watts for a CPU is. As usual, you can click right here to see the latest video, right here to subscribe to the channel. Stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.